Perfect. Oh, good morning, Brooke.
Yeah. Good morning.
Wow, isn't that a pretty picture? I love that picture. Wow.
Hey,
What's going on?
I don't know, David. It's dark in here, and I don't know that I like this feeling of darkness in the sanctuary.
Well,
Kinda weird.
Christmas Eve, it's fun because then we light candles and that dispels the darkness.
Well, that's true. But right now, like the pews are empty.
It's kind of quiet, yeah.
Seems like there's a huge
Well,
echo.
you know, I just noticed something.
What?
The lights aren't on.
The lights aren't on.
Oh, maybe we could have Mary turn on the lights. That would be really nice. And Mary Barshinger is our sextant, and she takes care of opening the church and putting all the lights on. Oh, look at that.
That's a little better.
Hey, wow, you know, but we're coming into the season where there's a lot more darkness. Did you know next Sunday we do something?
We turn the clocks back.
Fall back, spring forward.
Yes. But do we gain or lose an hour? I can never remember when we gain
We
sleep.
get an extra hour in the fall because you
Okay.
put the clocks back and you get to relive that hour.
Okay.
And then we lose an hour in the spring.
All right.
And it takes me a week to get over that, but it's okay. But we're coming into the season where there's a lot of darkness.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's how a lot of celebrations started.
Really?
Like hundreds and hundreds and even thousands of years ago. Because when it seemed like darkness kept getting more and more and more, people wanted ways to kind of dispel the light and or to dispel the darkness, push the darkness away, and be reminded of light and goodness and hope.
Oh. Is that why we have Halloween when it gets dark so much?
You know, I'm thinking that there's some connections there. Yeah. Because it was, there's a lot of different roots of Halloween. There's some that are non-Christian, and there are some Christian aspects of Halloween. It actually means All Hallows Eve, which is, it's the eve before All Saints Day. So just like Christmas Eve is the night before Christmas, and when we celebrate Christ's birth, Halloween is All Hallows Eve, is the eve before we celebrate those that are hallowed, or the saints of the church. And we'll be doing that in next week.
Next week?
I can't believe it already, next week.
I know.
But this week, before All Saints Day comes, there's Halloween.
Halloween.
Yeah. We have this kind of fun picture. Halloween.
Ooh. Oh, I used to love to carve pumpkins.
Jack-o'-lantern, yeah.
Yes.
And then, but they're no good unless you do something to them, right?
Right. They have a light. You really can't see it.
Exactly. Yeah, you have to put a light in it, and then it shows the face. And they're pretty much happy ones. But I'll tell you, sometimes there's some scary ones,
I know.
too.
I know.
So what do you like best about Halloween?
What? Candy corn?
Candy corn. All right.
That's like my all-time favorite candy.
Really? Wow.
I love candy corn.
Well, you know, I mean, it stems from when we were young, because that was, you know, you only got it once a year, and it wasn't
Yes.
like we got tons of candy.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I kind of, at different times, I've been invited to Halloween parties or had activities where we could dress up. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of fun.
Yeah, when you were a kid, was the challenge when I was a kid was to dress up and your neighbors had to guess who you were.
Yeah, you had to hide. I mean, you so that
Yes,
you couldn't.
and that was the challenge. And you even put gloves on, because I remember they would say, I could tell by your hands it was you, you know? So
Well,
like,
we put gloves on where I was from because it was cold. You know, that was like 4 hours north in the southern tier of New York. And when it got to Halloween, it was cold. There were no leaves. It was just cold. There, in a good year, we were lucky if it was 40 or even 45 degrees. But usually it was, you could see your breath, you know. It was cold.
but you didn't want to speak because they knew your voice.
Yeah.
But that was the whole idea. You'd go from house to house to house,
And they had to
they
guess.
had to guess who you were
I
first.
know, that was
You just didn't
fun.
show up and get candy.
And we made our own costumes. We did not go to
Yes.
Party City and
No.
buy some
No,
cheapo costume. We made them. I mean,
Yep.
we had to be creative.
I know.
I remember one year my mother actually sewed a pumpkin, and we had to stuff it with like newspapers that were wrapped up. It was funny. It was fun. Yeah.
I remember being an astronaut one time, or not astronaut, a robot, and it was a big box.
Did you cover it with
And
aluminum
we
foil?
painted it. No,
Oh, you
we
painted it.
But then you walk around like this. All.
Halloween can be fun.
It can be.
It can be scary too.
It is. Well, it is. You're like out in the dark, and
I know.
people sometimes dress up in really scary costumes.
You know, they like blood or disfigured.
Yes. Ugh.
And you know, I'm not sure that that's good.
No, I don't like that.
Well, I think, you know, because what if somebody literally had an accident where their face or body is disfigured? That would be sad. And so then people are walking around on Halloween and they might feel like they're making fun of them.
That might be, yeah.
But I think part of the reason why they do the scary costumes is to kind of scare away that thought of darkness and bad spirits and the things that scare people. I think it was like you scare fear by
Being scary.
by dressing up scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's how that all came in. Although I'm not a big fan of it, but one of the big things about Halloween is the darkness in the time of year. So I have a picture here.
All right.
I want you to look at it, Brooke. Tell me what you see.
I see Seattle.
That
Yes,
was
it
Lee.
is.
He watched. Yeah, I know. That's
Yeah.
his favorite team. I've been with these staff members for quite a few years, and we get to know each other. And that is the home of Lee's favorite football team. That's the Space Needle, but it's
Yeah,
also,
that's
and you
how I
can
knew it was
see
Seattle.
in the background. I think that's Mount Rainier, I think. But it's kind of hard to see, isn't it?
It is. It's like, well, I'm trying to look. Is it nighttime or starting to get night?
Yeah.
Or is it the weather? in
No,
that?
it's starting to get night. I think it's like twilight. I think, in fact, on that picture it said it's nautical twilight. I'm not sure what that is, but we can look at the next picture because there's another picture here. Now that is even further
That
along,
is, yeah.
and that would be kind of like dusk.
Because you see even more lights in the buildings.
Yeah, and the sky has gone even paler. Yeah. So then, but then it's like at nighttime. Then it continues, and so then.
Oh, yeah. Look
I
at
mean,
that.
it's pretty looking at the sky. You can see the light up in the sky because of the night lights, the stars, and things like that. But
Right.
on the ground, it's kind of
It is dark.
looks like it's dark down there.
Yeah.
And then this next one.
Ooh.
Sometimes there's a moon out that helps light the way, but sometimes there's not.
Those clouds look ominous.
Ominous, kind of. Yeah, they could look scary. And,
Yeah.
And then even look at this next picture.
Ooh. That looks like it's from one of those horror movies or something.
That to me looks like a real Halloween picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the bare leaves or the no leaves or very few leaves on that, the bare branches of the tree. Yeah. You know, so darkness can be scary,
Yeah, it can be.
and that's what we're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can't see your way. You don't know what's out there.
And so
'Cause sometimes it's so dark, I couldn't see you. Like sometimes it really gets so dark you don't know what's.
remember
3
when
feet
we
in
used
front
to
of you.
play sardines?
Oh my God.
Here at St. John's.
Yeah.
Maybe some of our parents and some of the youth, older youth, will remember playing sardines, but that was a fun youth group game where we would hide. The only place we couldn't hide was here in the sanctuary. You could pass through the sanctuary, but you had to be respectful and not scream or yell. Of course, we never wanted to scream or yell when we were playing sardines because
Right.
it was like hide and seek, except it's reverse hide and
Yeah.
seek. So one person would hide, and then everybody, when you found them, you'd hide with them, and you'd be crammed together in the hiding spot like sardines in a can.
Yeah.
And oh my goodness, one of the places that I used to like to hide, the shoemaker room here in the church. Oh my goodness, it was so dark. you had to get on your hands and knees and feel, and I knew there was furniture in there.
Mm-hmm.
I banged my head. It was crazy. It was dark.
And the other one was downstairs, what that used to be a storage closet, but now we turned into, there was Crossroads Cafe.
Yeah.
That was
Lots of
at
scary
midday was a
places to
high.
hide. But so at nighttime it gets dark, but then eventually what happens?
Well, the sun comes up.
Yeah. What is it called when it's starting to get light in the morning? Do you know the word for that?
You mean the sunrise or dawn?
It's before the sun rises.
Yeah.
What is it called?
Dawn.
Isn't that
what
a
you said,
soap,
Bill?
a dish detergent?
Yes, dawn is a dish detergent.
And that's the name of another pastor friend of mine's wife,
Oh, yeah?
is Dawn. But it's also when light begins to come back in the morning. And so then you start to see rays of sunshine, and then eventually it is, right there's the sunrise.
Yeah.
Because you can see the sun just rising
Just
over the
starting to rise,
horizon. And then it's hopeful, and then it's like, oh, it seems like kind of the fears kind of go away.
That's my favorite part of day,
Yeah.
to watch,
yeah.
to be outside and watch that happen.
I have some friends that she's a pastor that's retired, and she went to the beach in New Jersey, Long Beach Island.
Yeah.
Weren't you a New Jersey beach family? Yeah.
Yep.
And they're there for the month of October. And on Facebook, she's posted a lot of sunrises.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because they're up and out and on the beach early to watch the sunrise. There's so much hope in that, in the light kind of returning in the morning.
Yeah.
And but darkness can be scary.
Yes, it can.
And so, yeah. Well, I found a video I thought was kind of fun because we've got an exercise that we're going to do after a bit. But why don't
Okay.
we watch this video first?
All right, let's go.
Oh, and in the video,
Yeah.
there is music in the background.
Oh,
But it almost sounds like there's a heartbeat going. Thump, 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 thump. But that's part of the music, okay?
Okay.
So you have to
don't
listen.
worry about that.
Well, yeah. It's not my heart pounding.
Hi there. You're probably wondering why I'm surrounded by all these amazing sources of light. Well, I'm actually trying to answer a question. The question is, who is the light? So, I've learned a lot about light. Now, I found out that you can't smell light, you can't hear it, you can't really feel it, but you can see what it does. I wonder how many of you have turned on a torch or a light in a dark room and made finger shadows against the wall behind. That's lots of fun. You can see how light works there. Of course, light helps us see all the things around us, and it helps us feel safe and helps us to find our way in dark places. So, what about the question, who is the light? So it's got to be somebody who helps us find our way in dark places, someone who helps us feel safe. I do actually have another clue. The Bible tells us that Jesus is God's Son and that he is sometimes called the light of the world. There we have it. Jesus is the light. So the Bible tells us that Jesus is the light because he helps us to find our way in dark places and he helps us to feel safe. That is number 4. I am counting all the different light sources in my house. Why don't you give it a go? Count up all the different light sources you can find in your house. I bet there's more than you think. And this Halloween, every time you turn on a light, maybe you can think about how Jesus could be the light of your life.
So we were talking about the outside when it's dark and the dawn and the dusk and twilight and all the different stages of darkness and light
Right.
outside. But she was talking about other kinds of light and like indoor lights.
Yeah.
And
Well, like what happened to us this morning when the lights weren't on.
yeah, and so we have a picture here of some lights. Look at that. There. Which one do you like best?
I like the one over on the left.
The one that looks kind of like an egg shape with, yeah. I had one on the right when I was in high school and in college.
For
And
your desk?
yes,
Yeah.
you know, my little desk, and then like if your roommate went to bed ahead of you, you could just turn on the little light, not the big overhead
Right.
light, and that way you could keep studying while they were snoring, or well, they didn't snore, but yeah. The one in the middle is actually looks like a light that I have at the parsonage.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I mean it's almost exactly like the one at the parsonage, and that I got in Asheville, North Carolina, a long time ago. But anyway, how many lights do you see there?
There's three. There's 3 lamps.
Yeah, 3 lamps. Okay, but how many? I'll ask it again a better way. How many sources of light do you see there?
Well, they're all lamps.
Yes, but look at the one lamp
Well,
that you
the
like.
The one that I like?
Yes. What do you see there?
I'm not following you, David. The middle one looks like it has 2 things, so it has 2 light bulbs in it.
Okay, that could be, but in the lamp that you like in that picture, there's another source of light besides the lamp.
There is?
The window.
Oh, yeah, there is. Look
So,
at that.
you know, sometimes we're not like we are not always trained to see the light. In fact, there's stories in the Bible about how Jesus was the light of the world. In fact, we have the Bible here. Do you want to read that? Right
Sure.
down there? What does that say?
When Jesus spoke again to the people, he said, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life.
Okay, so that's a different kind of source of light. See, you were thinking about the lights that you turn on,
Yeah,
those
I
3
was.
lights.
Yeah.
But there was a different source, which was the natural light. And in this case, Jesus is saying, you know, he's a source of light, but it's not light like the sunlight and the moonlight or an electric light you turn on. It's like wisdom or an internal light in our mind and spirit that like so that we know what's right and what's wrong, what's good and what's bad. That light comes from Jesus. He says he's the light of the world and will never walk in darkness.
Right.
And darkness could be fear, darkness could be indecision, not knowing what is the best decision to make. There's a lot of ways that we can be in darkness.
But with Jesus, we can carry the light of Jesus in us.
Right, and that's just like if we were to go out in the dark with a candle. Somebody else can see the light, and then it could actually help somebody else, or a flashlight or whatever. But you're right, we can. And then when a lot of us get together, that's like the church, then it's even brighter. That's pretty
There's
awesome.
more, yeah.
Yeah, so light and darkness. And that's what we're thinking about today, kids, is that, you know, maybe Halloween is scary, but think about that jack-o'-lantern with the candlelight in it. It becomes less scary. It illuminates. It can show off its face or its eyes with the candle in it. There could be a message, you know, boo. Or there could be a message, love. You know, instead of doing a scary pumpkin this year, maybe you could do one that's like a heart,
Oh, yeah.
you know, and that says, I love you. Or boo, I love you. So, you know, when it's scary, one of the things that we can remember, and it's not just at Halloween if you're scared, it could be just
Anytime.
anytime, any night when you hear a noise, but just to remember and invite Jesus to come into our life and to take away our fear and darkness so that we can follow in the light and follow the light.
We say that.
We say that every Sunday. Well, we haven't
Wow.
been lately, but when the kids, in a normal times, not COVID, in normal times, when the kids go out to children's church, they follow
Follow the
the
light.
light. Yeah, because it guides us, it shines the way, it makes
Right.
the darkness brighter and less scary.
Yeah, makes us feel safer.
Yeah, so we hope you have a wonderful and safe week. And remember that Jesus is the light of the world. Oh, we were going to count up the number of lights that we've.
Oh,
See, remember she in the
like she
video
was doing that in the
Yeah,
video.
she was number 4. Yeah, so I mean, how many are in this church, in this sanctuary? There are a lot of lights in our sanctuary.
Well, there's 13 hanging here. Right?
Wow, 3, 6, 9, 12, 13. But in each of them, there's lights that shine down, and then there's the upper ones. So there's more. It's not quite double. And then in the picture, the kids can see there's 3 sources of light that are, you can hardly tell, but they're the projectors that project
Yeah.
the images on the wall. So those are 3 lights. And then
And what about when the candles are lit?
on the altar, yeah, there's the candelabras. There's 7 on each side. That's considered the number of perfections and a symbol of God. So the 7, the candle stand with 7 lights. And then there's the cross, and there's 1 light on each side to represent Christ in his humanity
Humanity and divinity.
Yeah. But then we have a light that shines on the cross, which you can't see, but it shines, up lights. Yeah, and there's the light behind those.
The stained glass window.
Yeah, there are a lot of lights
There
here.
are.
And then I suppose you could count as light sources in this room the exterior that shines through
Oh,
the
the
stained glass
windows.
windows. There are a lot of lights. Hey, kids, have fun this week counting the number of lights in your house. And when you do, just remember Jesus is the light of the world as the days count down to Halloween. All right.
Why don't
And-
we end with our prayer?
Yeah, but I was just going to say before that we do that, next Sunday is All Saints Day. Maybe we'll talk about that a little bit, what that means.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Because All Saints Day, that's kind of weird.
It is.
Yeah, so we better talk about
Okay.
that next Sunday.
All right. So let's end by saying the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven.
Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts,
as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Amen. Hey, have a wonderful and safe week. See you next week. Maybe in worship in an hour, half an hour.